Alrighty, good morning everybody, and welcome back to True Crime Loser. I hope you're doing well. It's good to be here. So, on my last video, when I said that I was going to cover Dustin on this video, and I said that it was a very interesting interrogation in my opinion, someone left a comment on that one saying, why is Dustin an interesting interrogation? He's the biggest loser in the world. And I was thinking, just right there, that's kind of interesting. You got to set yourself apart somehow in this life, and that's Dustin's brand. That's his truth. And other reasons why I think this is a fascinating interrogation is Dustin, old Dusty boy, Dustin thinks he's going home for sure. Up until like the very, very end when they're saying, okay, we're going to bring you to jail and book you. And when they say that, the blood runs out of his face like I've never seen before. And the interrogator does a really good job of, because the whole interrogation, he'll be like, I can't go to jail. I can't go to jail. I can't make it in jail. The interrogator does a really good job of just saying, okay, all right, let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? Let's just talk. Let's just get some information from you, you know? Let's not rush anything. And he does a good job of kind of just saying, calm down, Dustin, you know? You're definitely going to jail, but I'm not going to say that to you, okay? Because then you're going to get a little scared. So we're just going to talk. I'm going to act like your buddy. And we're going to get a little information, okay? That's all. Let's just relax, drink your water. And I think that's why what makes Dustin so terrifying is that he's almost like a supervillain in the way that he's got his disability, and he you know, he's got that cane in that hand, and I think he uses that to sort of just be like, I didn't mean to hurt nobody. I'm just a poor little boy with a cane, you know. Just send me home to my mama. You know, I made a mistake. I'll be honest. I did make a mistake, but I just will be on my way to my mama. Well, it's like, Dustin. Hi, Dustin. You're not going home this time. You know, no one, your disability, you can't worm out of this one with your disability. And he tries to play it up. He basically tries to use like the disability card to just be like, I couldn't make it in jail. Look at me. And so I think it's fascinating. Also, I say it a lot where people that are being interrogated and that know that they're not in a good position and looking at a life-changing jail sentence or penalty, I always say they cling to normalcy, where it's like Dustin, they'll be like, you know, they'll talking like, well, we need to search your car to make sure there's nothing in there that you would kill her. You know, very serious conversations. Like, we need to make sure you weren't gonna kill this girl that actually doesn't exist, but he doesn't know that. And then they'll be like, what color is your car? And he'll be like, it's a midnight purple. It depends on where the sun hits it. Like anything normal, like any topic where it's just two people talking instead of asking him if he was going to murder a child. Any topic that's normal, he just clings to it for dear life. He clings to normalcy so hard that when they're done with him, I bet there's claw marks in normalcy. I mean, he digs in, and I've referenced it on a bunch of other interrogation, the whole clinging to normalcy thing, and I think this is probably the best example. Also, I think this is a perfect one to analyze after Jody, because Jody is like this word salad, like goes on and on and on and just like monotone. And I think Dustin only knows about 14 words, so it's a nice change after Jody that just goes on and on, because Dustin is, he's got his mama. I guess that's really it. He's got he lives with his mama. He edits wrestling videos, which is funny. He always brings up like, oh, I gotta edit my wrestling video for this guy that I edit his videos or something. And then there's an interview where that actual wrestler that was having Dustin edit his videos did a podcast or something. And he's like, yeah, I was watching this police interrogation, and it's like, all of a sudden I was like, that's the guy that I had to edit my videos. And he's like bringing him up. So I think it's funny. Some like low level pro wrestler ends up in one of the most famous To Catch a Predator interrogations. I thought that was funny. All right. So the interrogation opens up with just Dustin sitting there. And I think there's like an MTV, just like production assistant in there, because their NBC comes in. First thing that happens is like the camera guy for NBC comes in and just points the giant HD camera at Dustin, and Dustin's just like, damn it. But before the camera even comes in, there's like someone that works for MTV, some just like, I don't know, could be the executive producer or just an assistant or something, but some guy's in there standing there, and Dustin is trying to like convince him that he's like, I wouldn't hurt nobody. I never thought I'd be arrested. I just never would hurt nobody. And you can tell the guy from NBC is like, all right, bro, like I don't have any say on whether anything. I'm just trying to get the shots for MTV or for NBC. And so then they come in, put the camera right in his face. I'm sure that's got to feel horrible. And then they leave. And then the detective comes in, Detective Joe, right? Or no, John, sorry. So John comes in, and John does a really good job of just playing the buddy. He walks in, and he's just, trying to get his area set up, and Dustin's already like, I wouldn't hurt nobody. I just am a guy with a cane, I live with my... And, excuse me, John's like, do you know me? Do you know who I am? And Dustin's like, no. And John's like, well, you're telling me your whole life story. Let's just calm down. Let's move. Take it slow. We're going to have to fill out a little paperwork. We're going to have to get your name. We're going to have to, let's just take it slow. And it's you don't see very often where in an interrogation, the detective is like, whoa, stop, slow down with all the truth. It's almost the opposite, where most of the time you have to do all this strategic, stuff to get them to open up and get them to talk. With Dustin, they had to like put a cap on it, like, easy, buddy. Give us a second. We got to read you the rights. So this is still like pre-rights or anything. He's sitting there going, I didn't hurt nobody. I didn't want to hurt nobody. I'm just a boy that lives with his mama. And, John's like, all right, relax. And like I said, he plays the buddy really well. Just, as we go, Dustin will say something like, I can't meet girls because everyone thinks I'm retarded. And the John does a really good job of being like, well, look at me, I'm 40, I'm bald, so it's hard for me to meet people too. Like, I get it, brother, doing the whole, like, we're the same. We're just the same. Okay, so this is still pre-rights. So just think, usually the person being interrogated just sort of sits there, you know, and then they read the rights, and then they slowly get into it. This is all just still pre-rights. And then Dustin goes, honestly, this gonna kill my mother. This gonna kill my mama. I'm the only child. And John goes, his answer to that is, well, you seem like you want to talk to me. He goes, it's gonna kill my mom. Well, you seem like you're gonna talk to me. And then he goes, I don't want to go to jail because I can't. I couldn't deal with jail. And he goes, okay, well, we're going to read you your rights. Just kind of like, okay, don't break down yet. We haven't even got to the rights yet. And so he reads him the rights. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. And Dustin goes, I don't like lawyers. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to be honest. And I don't like lawyers. And Detective John's like, you don't like lawyers? And Dustin goes, no. And John goes, all right. You can hear it. There's like a hilarious little like, all right. I'm sure that laugh was for the people watching in the other room. Like, can you believe this? Can you have a better interrogation subject? Is just someone that's like, I'm going to be honest and I don't like lawyers. He's like, okay. That sounds good, Dustin. That sounds good. And then Dustin goes, you know the bad part of this? That NBC guy lied to me. He said I wasn't going to be arrested. And I know why I'm here. I get why I'm here. But he shouldn't have lied to me. And John's like, well, that's, yeah, sorry. I'm not with NBC. So, yeah, just kind of moves on. And then this is the first kind of cling to normalcy is Detective John is getting the tape recorder ready, and he's, making a joke that he's not very good at technology. And John's like, yeah, I don't know too much about technology, and he holds up like a digital tape recorder, and he's like, I was looking at this, like, what is this? Where do I put the tape? And Dustin goes, ha! And just like laughs way too loud for the situation, just trying to talk about anything else and trying to also be anybody else other than the guy sitting there that just tried to bang a kid. Okay. So they get past the rights. He signs away, his right to remain silent and everything. He wants to talk. He wants to be honest. And then Dustin tells his version of the story for a little bit. And you can tell just how evil and how with it he is, because when he's answering questions about what he did or going to jail, or the severity of everything, he's like, oh, my mama, and she's gonna die, and I'm just a poor boy with a disability. But then he's like, all right, you tell me, that, what's your story? Then once he's telling his story, the tone changes, and he's like, well, we were talking a little bit online, I thought she was 17, and, I don't have a good memory. She may have said she was 13, but I thought she was 17, and, she was being sweet. We were friends. And it's this very sort of like, he almost turns into like a smooth talking, like, we were friends and she was being sweet. And I don't know, I don't think it's illegal. I don't think it's illegal to talk to someone that's 17, is it? As long as you don't do something, is it illegal to talk? And instead of Detective John, instead of just jumping in and being like, well, it's not illegal to talk to a 17-year-old. It is illegal to talk with sexually explicit language. But instead of that, because he wants him to keep going. And so there's no reason to scare him right there of like, yes, Dustin, it is illegal to do that, because then he'll clam up. So he's like, I don't think it's illegal, is it? And John's like, oh, I don't know if it's illegal, but I don't know. Keep going. Just keep going. And so Dustin's, she was being sweet and just creepy and, saying, I like to make friends on the internet. And this is the first time he uses his disability card. He goes like, I just, I need to make friends on the internet because it's hard in real life. And here's the thing that, having cerebral palsy, that is not a good hand to be dealt. And I feel for him. I really do. I feel for anybody that just started life with a tough hand like that. But here's the thing, Dustin, is once you try to bang a kid, all disability sympathy goes out the window. It's hard to feel it. It's like, poor guy. And then you read some of his chats and it's like, ugh, all right, this dude is gross. So he's kind of doing the sob story. Again, much different tone. When he was telling his story, it was like, she was being sweet, and she said to come up here, and I didn't want to come up. I didn't. But she was being sweet, and I didn't want to hurt her feelings. And then, just a second later, moments later, he's like, I can't meet anybody. I got his cane. Everyone thinks I'm retarded. And he's trying to play that up, even though mentally he's really not. He drives a car. He's able to have good conversation. So he even says that to, like, the Detective John. He puts that out there. Like, everybody thinks that just sort of, everyone, really thinks he's disabled and doesn't want to be around him. And that's when John is like, hey, like, look at me. I'm 40. I'm balding. It's tough for everybody out there, brother. Like, I know how it is trying to make friends. And again, I think that the detective and the judge and the whole thing in this matter did a good job of, they're making sure that he's comfortable. They didn't throw him on the ground and arrest him like a normal person because of his disability, and they didn't. But they also didn't give him too much. He asked to be, once he was arrested, he asked to be let in the custody of his mom. He's like, can I be released in the custody of my mama? And they're like, no, you can't. And yeah, and I thought that was good. He was treated fairly for his situation, but also for the situation that he created. All right, so then they get to, with all these To Catch a Predator cases so they all happen the same. I think everybody is pretty aware of how it happens. So I think they use Perverted Justice, or some organization that pretends to be young girls or young boys, goes into these chat rooms and talks to people like Dustin and gets them to come over. And so they come over, and then Chris Hansen talks to them, and then they come out and get arrested. Well, the search of the car is important in these because you can see a lot of their motives for what they bring. So the big part of these interrogations are getting permission to search the car, because if they brought sex toys and a rope, then the charges go way up. Or if they brought alcohol, or if they brought drugs, or whatever it is, that can be a lot more severity of a crime. So they're, it's like, all right, can we search he's asking him, can we search the car? If you sign here, we'll search the car. We'll make sure you didn't bring anything to kill her with. So saying that he starts out with the most severe thing that he could have brought is something to kill her with, because then they could have gotten him with, I don't know, attempted, whatever. But so John starts very high. You know, it's like we need to make sure that there was nothing in there that you were going to kill her with. And Dustin's like, well, you know, there's nothing in there. Well, I'll tell you everything that's in there. And then he's like, there's, you know, something and da da da. And then also, I can't remember if I may have thrown some hand moisturizer or KY or something in there. And he tries to, like, there's KY lubricant in there. And so he tries to be like, yeah, it was I don't know why, if I brought it or what, but it just was hand moisturizer. And so this is the first thing that comes up where John tries to get an admission of a charge out of him, because if he can get Dustin to say that why he brought the KY, then that right there is enough for the charge. So you can really see John switch on and go for the confession right when he mentions KY. So he's, you know, Dustin, why would you bring the KY jelly? And Dustin's like, well, my hands, they needed moisturizer. I don't even know if I brought it, but I think I brought hand moisturizer. And, you know, it's like, Dustin, come on, man. I'm a guy too. You use one to wash your hands and you use KY, you know, for sex. Which one did you bring? And he's like, you know, I don't know. I may have thrown it in the car, but and he's just rambling. And John is like, Dustin, was the KY in case you had sex with her? And Dustin goes, yeah, but I was going to try and not to. And I mean, even that is just good enough. And yeah, I was just going to try and not to. And John's like, oh, I understand. And this one's getting long. All right, so I'm going to cut it off right there. That's about, I think, 15 minutes in, but we'll pick up tomorrow. And we'll go on this ride with Dustin until the end, when the blood runs out of his face like a waterfall. And I don't know, I think these To Catch a Predators are fascinating, so I hope you guys do too. Thank you to everybody that supports this channel. I really appreciate it. It's so much fun. Thanks again. I hope you have a good day. True Crime Loser out.